Yup. Peace, love, and light reflections. Peace, peace. Over in the mango bush, the mango tree. Beautiful mangoes here. We got mangoes growing in Costa Rica. Abundance, punto of mango. Or buca of mango. So many beautiful mangoes over here. We got mango trees all around. Beautiful area. Let me give my reflections a little view of the area. I don't think I have done a walk around of the place that one is at, but one's gonna give you a little view about. Yep. That's what it is. Paradise. This is where all the production happens. Production of the Etherians. It's beautiful. Here every day for the benefit of our reflections, doing Mama's work, God's work, Christ conscious, here to raise the consciousness and the frequency, and just giving out information and reflecting light. You know, some may be at work, or some may be trapped in that simulated environment, so there may not be many reflections on this live stream right now, but it's okay. One just wanted to do a question and answer, but one also has information and divine wisdom that one is always willing to share. One is always willing to reflect light. One can't see me, so one's gonna get in the light a little bit so my reflections can see my face. There we go. All right. So one posted a post today about mortality and how it's important that one is connected to the ground, because the ground zeroes out one's electromagnetic field, or electromagnetic field, yeah, the energy flow that we have in our body. It gets disrupted and affects our living matrix when we're in environments like Babylon, because there's so many microwaves and small things that one can't see, the metaphysical, that are sending and receiving and transmitting signals, communicating with one another. So there's a lot of radiation in Babylon through the Wi-Fi. When beings have Wi-Fi, beings disrupts the living matrix and disrupts one's communication with cells in the body, knowing that we are electromagnetic beings and that our being and everything inside our being communicates through electrical signals, electro synapses in the body and the brain. So everything is communicating through electrical signals and frequency, energy. So when one lives in an environment like Babylon, where there's a lot of different kinds of frequencies and electrical signals being sent through the air, it disrupts one's living matrix. And when one is disconnected from the earth, from Mama, all this is affecting cells, and all this is affecting, reprogramming, and reconstructing one's being. When one is connected to the ground, it's called grounding. All one's energy, all the energy that one receives, if one's touching something that has a high radiation or whatever, since we are conducive and conductive to electricity, when one is touching the ground, the whatever radiation or electromagnetic pulses being sent through one's body from the device will be transmuted through one's being, and then will hit the ground, and then will be transmuted into the ground. So it will not have any harmful effect or create any stress in one's being or one's body. Stress is an insulator, and it disrupts the communication between cells in the body. And this disruption of cells and communications in the body also creates, it disrupts that and creates a stress, because the body is under stress now. It's trying to figure out what these toxic energy forces and fields are being sent through one's being, as well as the food that one eats. Because the food, if it's toxic or if it is has preservatives or whatever, when it's in the body is trying to identify what toxic stuff is being put in the body, and then the body's trying to identify it and is trying to work to get it out and trying to digest that. So that creates stress, because the body is focused more on trying to digest something that wasn't supposed to be in the body to begin with. We are frugivores, only supposed to eat fruit and plant-based on a plant-based diet, because this filters out through one's being fast, and it takes little to no effort to digest. So it creates less stress in the body because it goes through one's being effortlessly. But when one's being has to work more on clearing out all this stuff that one is eating in one's digestive, and trying to take it and reconstruct it with the RNAs that are being sent, microRNAs that are being sent from the food, to connecting to the RNAs within one's body, trying to compartmentalize it and trying to create new cells based off the junk and the toxins that are put in one's body, as well as trying to digest this food, which does not break down very easily. It creates stress in the body, because the body is focused on that rather than focusing on other vital parts of one's being with communicative cells and trying to being able to heal. The body heals itself. But when we put toxic stuff inside one's being and are in a toxic environment and have radiation pollution, and all this is disrupting one's living matrix and the communicative responses between cells. So it's taking longer. It's taking longer to be able to respond and be able to heal one's being. So it's important that we we create a nice non-toxic environment inside one's being, an alkaline environment in one's being. This is why it's important to eat plant-based foods, because they're electrically charged. They have electrolytes in it. They have they're alkaline, and alkaline is conducive to electricity, and our bodies and our cells respond through communicative responses of electrical signals. So everything in one's being is based off electricity, so it's important that we give electrical foods to the being, and then one digests those foods effortlessly and creates an alkaline environment. So eating limes, eating anything that's fruit-based, anything that is fruit-based and conducive in one's being will be a plus. And this is one of the stages to getting to immortality, because immortality is just when one's body isn't under stress, it's not aging. And there's scientific facts and proof to be able to back that up. One also posted made a post today showing of what one's cells look like when they're grounded versus when one's cells are not grounded, and one can see the state of stress that one's cells are in when they are not grounded, where they're all jumbled up and on top of one another and just not in order or structure. But when one grounds themselves and is grounded with the telluric energy, one's cells are in a state of harmony, where they're compartmentalized. All the cells are very organized and kept in the way that they should be, just zeroing out, and the energy zeroes out and it tunes into the frequency of Mama. Everything in nature is immortal, as long as this isn't tampered with by man or by the humanity, the lower self. Humanity is coming into consciousness now, where we're understanding that we have a harmony and a role to play, connecting back to Mama and connecting back to nature, and being of service and giving back in the way that we receive in abundance. So and when we do this, we receive a blessing of understanding how immortality works, and how creating less stress in the body, and how connecting to the being grounded and connecting to the earth is leading us to immortality and being able to become into our authentic true self. So I noticed there's some questions, so I'll get off the topic of immortality and see what we have here, if anything. Okay, so hold on. Peace Reflections, Nina. Pepper Farms. Peace Reflection. Alright, we have Nathelia Maria Al. I hope I pronounced this one's name right. What about the body and occasional marijuana on an early path? Oh, one meant to say marijuana and put an H where the J should be. Marijuana is not meant to be smoked. Marijuana is supposed to be meditated upon in a meditative grounds, in the meditative fields of where that where it existed from, in its natural environment. It is not to be smoked. To pick marijuana or to grow it and then cut it down, that is going against nature. That's going against one's higher self, and that's not in harmony with nature. One goes to these meditative grounds, and the sun activates and activates it activates the marijuana, and it's got like little pores, just as if one was to vaporize marijuana, like using a vaporizer. Same concept happens to marijuana when it's in its natural state in a heated climate. When it gets hot out, solar noon is a perfect area to go, a perfect time for one to go meditate upon in these grounds, to be able to get the natural essence of the marijuana and be able to get high. So one goes to these grounds and one sits down and one is in a field surrounded by marijuana. And solar noon is when the heat is at its highest, when the heat's at its peak, and then it activates the marijuana, and then the marijuana sends out this stuff in the air. This THC in the air releases its THC in the air, and then one can get high like this. But it's not to be smoked. It's not to be picked. That's going against nature, and that's just not how it's supposed to be. So this is just how, when one comes to their consciousness and most authentic version of self, they'll be able to tap into this and be able to, get high, without destroying or without taking advantage of Mama. This is just how it's supposed to be, and it's not like a fruit that's supposed to be eaten either. So it's important that we realize this and respect Mama in these manners, knowing what marijuana is and how to use it. So yeah, if that answers one's question, just meditative grounds, and just as crystals too. Crystals are not meant to be used like that. Crystals are in the ground for a reason. The lower self has picked them up. The lower self has got into the ground and dug into the ground, which is going against nature, and like in that sense, digging really deep into the grounds, and have pulled up these crystals, and then has sold them and done all sorts of stuff, for the 7 deadly sins: greed and gluttony, all that money, and all the 7 deadly sins. It's the only reason that the lower self does this, is to power the system and unconscious of what reality is and what this realm is. So, in the same instances of as crystals are meant to be in the ground, and these are sacred areas that we go and we meditate and we are able to tap into and be able to. Everything's sacred. Everything is very sacred, and everything is supposed to be in harmony, and it's not supposed to be disrupted. It's not supposed to be, as we would, like to destroy, and as the lower self likes to destroy and tear down and sell this and sell that and power and all that. That's not how it's supposed to be. That's low vibrational thinking, and that's just on the lower frequency. So we must throw away our crystals and give them back to nature. We must throw away and give up the habits of smoking marijuana if one is going to rise to the consciousness and the higher self and be able to be one and in harmony with Mama. Because to be in harmony with Mama is to not disrupt or steal, or not to be not to create disharmony in nature, in Mama. You're supposed to be one with this. So I hope that answers one's question. Taikoi Bugman, Baughman, Peace reflection. If one can't pronounce names, one will just spell. And so, yep. Bruce Larry, sunflower seeds, red, purple potatoes. Let's see what else one said. Avocado, lime, teas, tomatoes. Yes, yes. This is the vitamin B6 diet. This is good. This is good. This is good to know, Bruce Larry. I'm glad one is spreading information. Vitamin B6 diet is very important because it helps rebuild cells and replenish one's melanin, and it also it's really good for one's being that to be able to do that because it replenishes one's melanin. It also helps. It's part of the conductor of rebuilding melanocytes and melanin in the skin. So it's good to get on this B6 diet and get off all that meat, get off all that toxins, get off all that GMO food, genetically modified food, and everything that's not organic and 100% natural. We are organic beings, and we need to eat of a plant-based diet, organic plant-based diet, and come back in tune with nature. And one needs to get off eating meat and all that poisons and get on the vitamin B6 diet, and just eat fruit and one vegan solar noon meal, vegan. Vitamin B6 is recommended, but if one eats rice and beans or is on the journey, you know, one does not totally. Rice and beans isn't good, isn't optimal for health. But one can eat this if one is coming to consciousness, and then one eventually will graduate to the level where one will eat red skin potatoes and the vitamin B6 diet, and then from there one will graduate up to just fruitarian and eating fruit. But one has to be in the tropics. One has to be in one's natural environment. One must be between the tropics, Cancer, and Capricorn. This is loving oneself. This is understanding. This is what one must do. Kundalini D, peace reflection, peace and love. Anytime is good. Hold on. Alright, hold on. Also, as far as meditation in Babylon, what is the best way to do so before one leaves? Oh, meditation in Babylon, Bruce Lowry. Meditation is just thinking clearly, being able to think clearly and having one complete thought without other thoughts interrupting. So meditation is just like if one were to watch a video and focus on one topic for like an hour or 2 hours, that's meditation. Meditation is everything. Me making this video right now is a form of meditation, answering questions and such, based off my higher self, my higher consciousness, and where one is right now, and shedding that light. Everything is a form of meditation. When one is in the lower self, subjecting oneself to a lower self and lower thought vibrations and thought frequencies, that's a form of meditation. It's a low frequency of meditation, but it's a form of meditation. One needs to come into higher self and understanding. And meditation, the best way to do it is solitude. Don't be around any beings that are vibrating at a low frequency, a low level of thinking, that are going to disrupt one's thought patterns and understanding oneself. And study astrology, meditate on astrology, meditate every day on astrology and how one's astrological energy is being expressed through one's being. That is a very important key meditation that one should do daily, and studying one's astrological energy, because then one will know how one is being expressed and how one's authentic version of self is going to want to be expressed through this being. And then one needs to be that, because the only sin is to not be one's true authentic being. So it's important to do that. It's important to become authentic. It's important to know oneself. And yeah, that's a great form of meditation, is just to be in solitude and to not subject oneself to any low vibrational or low beings, low thought frequencies of beings. One was in solitude for a long period of time, and one was able to find clarity of the mind and be able to know how one thinks and how one's brain operates, and how one is able to articulate oneself and expressions, and one knows how one thinks. So when one encounters beings that are on low frequencies, low thought vibrations, low frequencies, one will know that that being is not for it, and detached from that. Or if it's a relationship, just a relationship as in one gets in a relationship to get from point A to point B, a level of consciousness, one will use that being, but not abuse, just use that being for whatever one needs to use and give back in whatever way, and then detach from that quickly, because one just needs to deal with oneself right now in Babylon. When one gets out of Babylon and finds one's tribe and finds one's authentic beings that are on the same frequency of thought, then one can express and one can be in healthy relationships that serve oneself, because love is understanding. So when one knows thyself and loves thyself, one can be able to articulate and be able to, So I hope that answers one's question, Bruce. And Athelia again. Well, I am happy that marijuana helped me awaken my souls and reach the level of awareness. If I don't need it anymore, so I see it as a blessing spiritually. So I see it as spiritual. Yes, Natalie Maria L. Yes, marijuana for melanated beings, because we are more of what is. We are etheric beings. We are melanated beings. We are genetically qualified to interpret and be able to be the leaders in humanity, to get humanity back to being one with nature. It is used. That's why us beings are so attracted to it, because we are trying to get in tune and back in the cycle and the harmony of nature. And this gives us a sense of being in tuneness and oneness and being back in tune with nature. So it was inevitable that we would come to the stage, but it's only a stage we must graduate. It's like schooling. It's like we must graduate this level of consciousness and understanding what marijuana truly is, and graduate the levels, because one can still get high and one can still get the meditative essence of marijuana, but in a harmonious way that does not hurt or affect mama or hurt mama in any way. So connecting to the fields, the marijuana fields, and being one with that, and being connected like that is a more healthier, harmonious way, being one with nature and understanding that in consciousness. So one is glad that it has helped one for awareness and has come to this conscious level. And one feels as if it has helped a lot of melanated beings out there come to their awareness and understandings. And it's a good tool, but it's also levels that we must graduate and consciously graduate of understanding. So one is glad to see one graduating that level of understanding. Osiris, Amen Ra, peace reflection, Kundalini. Anytime is a good time to meditate. Yes, Kundalini D. Anytime's a good time to meditate. Bruce Leary. Child. Is a child stopping someone from being immortal? No. Well, in a sense, it can. Depending on children are only meant here to show one a reflection of self to become a child again. And some beings need that lesson throughout one's whole existence, this lifetime, in order to come to the consciousness, and then their next cycle they'll be able to raise the consciousness and come back to the source and be able to complete their journey and their path to ascending to higher realms and higher understandings and higher consciousness. But some beings are astrologically placed to have these children and beings as lessons to come into their life, to show them a reflection of self, of what they're supposed to be through pain. Some will have pain because one will raise these children, and these children will grow up, and then they will resent them and say, "Oh, you can't control me, and you can't control me, and I don't love you," and all this stuff. And they will go through pain in order for one to realize that these beings that they have raised and have birthed are not them, and that they need to detach from that and know what this reality is. And in the next cycle, when these beings come back, they will have no desire, or if they do have children, they'll have no attachment to those children, because they realize that what these children are, they're just here examples, they're obstacles for beings to either for lessons for beings for the next cycle, or they're obstacles for the chosen this cycle to detach from and just let go of all that that no longer serves them. So yeah, these beings, but in a smart way, like if a chosen had children this lifetime, they might experience being in a relationship where they have a baby mama who isn't on the same frequency, and these chosens are on a conscious level, and the child might be more attached to the baby mama,